host, Emily Zubi, and Spotlight TV is the spot for CEOs and founders of major companies and trailblazers. And we're so happy to be in partnership with community newspapers. Today, we have a very special guest who actually interviewed me not too long ago, and that is Jonathan Hermida. He's the founder and CEO of CAPSUL. Welcome to Spotlight.
Thank you so much, Emily. Happy to be here.
It's good to be on this other side, I think. I don't know.
It's good too. I'm happy to be on this side.
Wonderful. So why don't you tell the audience a little bit about how you got started? I love the idea of CAPSUL. I want everyone to know it, especially before the holidays. I think it makes the perfect gift. It's just, recording your history, your legacy for generations to come. So tell us a little bit of how you started and your brainchild.
Oh, man. To express that, I need to share a little bit that I wasn't a natural entrepreneur, meaning I didn't come into it thinking, hey, I need to start a company. I'm somebody who's been on a personal journey of personal transformation, of trying to understand who I am, what life is all about. A series of traumatic events, you can say, took place in my life that took me on a wild ride. And along the way, I really started to discover things about myself, discover passions and purpose that I didn't know was there. I turned that into a coaching company that I first started, my own private coaching company, that eventually led to my first startup in Rizon. That was, again, a really mission-driven enterprise that helped people to work on their inner worlds. It was an online gym for mental and emotional well-being.
I love that.
Yeah.
I was just hearing last night about this whole 75 hard challenge. And it was funny because I knew that, we're going to be on together today. And you walk the walk, talk the talk. Like, I've run into you running on the golf course.
Right.
And a lot of leaders now use coaches for that mental focus. So what are some of your thoughts in terms of what that type of practice can do for just life in general?
Yeah, the reality is we're human beings with blind spots that we can't see without the help and support of others or without some sort of process, whether that's reading a book that helps us to see ourselves clearly, listening to a podcast. But coaching really helps to cut through the fog quickly, right? And it's that person that helps to mirror what they're hearing, helps to see what perhaps you're not seeing, and helps to reflect back questions and observations that allow you to see yourself and what you're working on differently, right? Providing clarity for the path forward. And also to clarify what that path forward is, because sometimes that is murky. So coaching is a wonderful technology for people to really fast track anything that they're trying to build in their life.
What's been like the biggest success story that you've seen, maybe working with someone one-on-one or just in coaching in general, that you've said, wow, like completely gratifying because you went from A to Z?
The breakthrough can be in a relationship, in business, in their own personal life. So the breakthrough looks like you were one person in one moment and you're another person in another. So this could be from just feeling unfulfilled and unhappy in a relationship. I've had clients like that, to transforming their marriages and, creating a sustainable, long-lasting union. Breakthroughs in business, people who are feeling stuck, they don't know what to do, they're ready to give up. And through coaching, they realized how to change things up and how to do things differently, and took their company to 6-7 figure levels. And on the personal level, people that were feeling, just disconnected, unhappy with themselves, and finding pathways to that fulfillment and that happiness. I mean, I don't know what could be more gratifying and more fulfilling than that. It's wonderful.
That's amazing. And how did that lead up to what you're doing now? And you still do both, but
I do both. I'm a heart-centered person, somebody who is all about giving back to people. Life has given me so much, and my own mentors, my own coaches have given me so much. So I lean into that. That is in my DNA. And so when my mom passed away 7 years ago, and and so when my son was born 2 years ago, that feeling of sadness that, man, my son's never going to know this incredible woman who, it was such a force in this world, such a light in this world, just beautiful inside and out. And he's never going to hear her voice, know her perspective, hear her stories. And I thought, man, what a shame that is. And that doesn't have to be the case. And that mixed with another idea that I had. And I thought, man, what if we proactively recorded people's lives, and interviewed them and captured who they are, how they grew up, what their family was like, what lessons did they learn? What were some hard decisions that they made, and what did they learn from those decisions? What do they want to leave behind for their family? Really capture the essence of each individual so that their family has that essential piece of them forever, right? People think about leaving a legacy and they might think about, the material things that they're leaving behind. But really, the real legacy is the impact that you've had in people's lives. How you made them feel, how you made them think, and we are now capturing that and packaging that so that families have that and can pass that down for generations.
It's such a beautiful process, and you have such a natural talent for telling this story. I mean, I get emotional thinking about it because when you interviewed me and did mine, there were things that you asked me that I hadn't thought about in I don't know how long, and that got really to the meaning of life. And when you say the meaning of life, it's such an amorphous type of thing, but yet you got me thinking about what's the secret sauce to my life.
Yeah, that's the connecting force between my coaching and this company Capsule is, I've over the past 10 years, I've grown really skilled in getting to the heart of each individual that I'm sitting across from, and really trying to understand them, understand what drives them, what motivates them. And when I'm sitting across from somebody in the interview chair in Capsule, I'm really a representative of the family. So I'm really thinking about, what does your son want to know about you later on? What do, other family members that might be watching this want to hear from you? And so I take that role and I really lean into perhaps even the things that you're not saying or thinking about, right? It really leaning into my curiosity. And I think that's what the secret sauce is and what we do.
It's funny because sometimes when I have people on, they'll say to me before and they get nervous. They're like, oh, send me a list of questions. I said, I will not, because you'll be sitting there thinking about the next question and not really listening to the question, and just makes for a much better, authentic interview, which you have that natural skill to be able to do that. How did you come up with your repertoire of questions? And because to ascertain someone's life, when you ask someone your purpose, you talked about right at the beginning your purpose and your passion, but to try to get those layers unlocked, if you will, what were some of the things that you went through to get to that process?
Yeah, two things. I mean, I'm in the industry of asking questions in coaching, so questions are what I live and breathe with. So I'm always thinking about questions and always asking people questions. And on top of that, I just thought about what are the things I want to know about my mom, that I'm not going to be able to capture, and I sat with, if I were to interview my mom, or if somebody were to interview my mom, what are those key questions? And that was really the basis for building the foundations for the questions that I ask. But it's also not about the specific questions that I've planned and thought about. It's living and breathing in the moment with the individual, and also seeing what questions emerge from what the person is telling me, right? Because that's very important too. Everybody's different. Everybody's journey is different. So there can't be a sort of template set of questions that I ask everybody, although there are at the same time, but there's additional questions that are very unique to the individual based off what they're sharing and expressing.
Now, there's some examples, right? But why don't you describe the end package, because it's a beautiful gift that you can give someone. Talk about the packaging of that, and how you give this to someone.
I'm really happy you asked me that, because that's evolved, and that's something I was telling you that we're sort of rebranding and rethinking things. One of the things that I really want the final package to be and the final deliverable to be is something that you can access in any given point in time that it's in front of you. And so we're actually going to be taking beautiful photos of each individual and putting it in a custom frame, having a QR code there so that you can have it in your house and not just have a beautiful photo of your loved one, but you can scan the QR code and go directly to their private landing page that houses those interviews. So you can watch it at any time. Putting it on mugs, you're drinking your coffee and you're seeing the photo of your loved one and you're like, I want to hear from them. You scan the code and you get to drink your coffee with your loved one as you're listening to them share different aspects of their life.
I mean, brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, that takes all the different levels of it. My brother-in-law just sent me a video of my dad, and he was dancing with my sister, and we both, the last time that we danced together, and I didn't even realize he had that video footage. And I mean, I saw it and I just cried, but
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? It's priceless. You know, that one little video that, you know, that he took. So, I mean, I imagine that this is just the most touching gift that you can get for anyone. And anyone I tell, they're like, I got to do this. So I send them your way. But the idea of being able to, you know, the coffee mug or having other merchandise and that, you know, ease and comfort of being able to just scan everything is a QR code now. So you can pull up the different videos.
Yeah, and it takes you to your own private page that you can share with others. And so it's your own home that houses your loved ones' stories. And eventually we're going to be building off of that and just creating a robust home for one's family where all of your memories are living in one place and you can access them and they're interconnected. And, you know, so, you know, eventually grandkids and great grandkids can go onto this one page, navigate it and discover details, intimate details of each person that is a part of their life, not just seeing a name and a date and, you know, where they were born, but really hear, hey, you know, what are some challenges this person faced and how did they overcome them? You know, what were some of the happiest moments of their life? That creates an understanding of where you come from in a way that rare things produce in this world.
That's beautifully said. And, you know, when you think of leaders, there's always some motivation or force. What would you say is your driving force in terms of business? And, you know, you get up in the morning and you have a baby, right?
Baby, well, 2 years. He's not quite a baby, little toddler now. Yeah. He's talking up a storm, full sentences. He's wild. It's wild. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful process.
So, what would you say is your, you know, what are the things that, you know, keep you going, keep you not giving up, that resilience, all those things? Because it's never easy having a business and keeping it. And like you're saying, your mission has evolved just even in the time that I've known you, which is beautiful.
Yeah. At the core of it is love for people, love for my family, love for the world, you know, and really creating beautiful companies and beautiful products and services that benefit people in more ways than one.
Now, you also invented the technology that goes behind this proprietary way of producing it. So, for example, my capsule, at no point do we see you, which is, you know, it's all point of view.
Yes.
So talk a little bit about that.
Well, I do not take credit for that. That is my co-founder, Kirill, who patented that and created that. He's a wonderful mind and he's created an incredible studio. And yeah, the idea is, you know, right now you and I are talking. And so the cameras are, you know, facing us here. And so we're not looking directly at the camera. Right. In our studio, what we've done is we've created, or Kirill created, this U-Capture technology. We're speaking through a mirror, which sounds a little awkward at first, but when you're there, it's really quite intimate. So through the mirror, we're still talking. You and I were right next to each other.
Right.
But what's happening is the camera's right behind the mirror, and you're in fact looking directly at the mirror. So when your family receives the final product, when the person is talking and sharing about their life, they're looking directly in your eyes. They're looking directly at you. And so what's cool is that scales with the emerging technologies that are coming, because we've actually played around with putting a virtual headset on and you're face to face with your loved one right in front of you and they're looking right at you, telling you the stories, which creates such an incredible experience for those that do that.
That's beautiful. What about your mission and vision? So 5 years out, you know, you talked a little bit about how technology, I mean, the whole idea of AI has changed everything. I mean, you know, the other day I got a video with AI from a family member. And to be honest with you, I was like, I don't necessarily want to see something pass or someone who's gone speaking. Like, that's just personally me. But how do you think that comes into play with what you're doing, how the product that you're going to be able to deliver? I mean, we're moving at a speed of
incredible speed.
Right.
So what you're saying, that you don't want somebody from the past speaking, meaning you don't want AI generating language that they didn't say or share, right?
Right.
Right.
I mean, that's just me personally.
Yeah.
You know,
Totally get that.
Yeah.
Totally get that.
I mean, and it just, you know, I mean, if once someone is gone, I don't know. That's just my personal feeling.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So there are technologies where eventually, you know, we capture enough about the person that we could eventually turn that into some sort of algorithm where you can ask questions it's not there yet, but eventually it can get there. But really more than that is leveraging AR and VR, augmented reality and virtual reality, so that once a person is gone, they can enter into the interview that we did record with the loved one and really feel like they're in a room again with them, and really create an intimate environment, or maybe have them pop up in a hologram or something, and just have that reconnection in more ways than just a 2D video or a photo.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah. So that's the idea, right? You're in a room again with somebody you love. So that's where, I see Capsule going, and that's where what we're building towards.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking a little bit about our book of leaders, and I think that you are such an amazing leader. I've gotten to know you and just really respect how you do business. Let's talk about business in Miami and leadership in general.
Yeah.
What do you think are some of the most important traits that a leader needs to possess in order to really create growth?
Empathy. I think empathy, because what you need to understand your customer deeply, understand what their pain points are, understand what their desires are, understand the things that they're looking for that they might not even know they're looking for. So this is in any industry, in any sort of company, you need to have empathy for your customer. And if you have deep, deep empathy and you truly understand them, then you're creating a company or a service or a product that can really revolutionize either the industry or at least that individual's life. And so leading with empathy is the main thing. And then also when it comes to leadership, also when you're building teams, really understanding how to get the most out of the individuals, what drives them, what motivates them. To me, it all comes back down to empathy, right? And really understanding each individual's levers, again, whether it's the customer or whether it's your employees and team members.
And we've talked about books before and the books that we love. What book would you say has probably impacted you the most in terms of leadership, or one that, sticks in your mind as a favorite?
There's so many. I need to rack my brain. As I'm racking my brain, one came up in terms of companies that are trying to scale and trying to build something special. The E-Myth Revisited. That's just thinking about your business as something that can be scaled and really take you out of the business. Because one of the traps that a lot of entrepreneurs fall into is that they are the entire business. They do the service, they do the marketing, they do everything. So if they weren't there, the business could not run.
The scalability.
The scalability is not there.
Before we went on air, and that idea of being able to know when you need to give up the reins on something, or take, a lot of leaders sometimes don't know how to relinquish the control.
That's right.
Right. And so what happens is they get tied to the outcome and the action and being able to train. Listen, what I love about our YPP circle is, we have an appointed president, and, I get to mentor her, and, she's absolutely amazing. She's, CEO of Miami Alkaline Water. But at the same time, it's always, being able to coach and teach, as opposed to doing it yourself. So, you get caught into that. Well, it's a lot easier if I just, let me go ahead and do that.
Yeah, which is why systems are really important in a business. Creating systems that can be replicated, and systems that can be plugged and played by somebody. So really thinking, if you are a one-man band in your business, thinking about the marketing team and the marketing department, thinking about the operations, thinking about sales and finances, separate departments, creating systems for them, so that when you are in a position to scale, it's a matter of plugging and playing people that can fill those roles. They already have the systems. They can evolve the systems, make the systems better, but at least you have them in place. And it doesn't necessarily rely on you to have to do everything.
Right. And let's talk about social media.
Yes.
Because when you talk about systems, we know way too many companies that haven't tapped into, hard to believe, the power of social media. And I know this is another one of your wheelhouses that you're impressive with your knowledge. What are some beginning steps that you would tell a company who, is at that pain point where they know they need to use it, but aren't completely using it now, and, or need to increase their visibility?
The reality is, you're trying to get leads, you're trying to get sales, you're trying to reach your customer, impact their life. And the way you do that is through social media nowadays. That's where people are at. So a lot of business owners have analysis paralysis. They're like, what do I do? What's my style? Where do I start? What channel? just start. Just start. Take action. Start posting whatever you can post in that moment, whether it's behind the scenes of your business, whether it's customers engaging with your product, whether it's you talking about the company. Just start. Because as you start getting momentum, you start getting data and inputs, you start understanding what sort of content is resonating with them, is easy for you to produce, and you can create systems around, that type of content from there. So just start,
Right.
that's the main.
And don't be afraid to go live, right?
Don't be afraid to go live and be authentic, because authenticity.
You told me that.
Yeah.
You're like, what? I think it's like almost 2 years ago. But
that's right.
You coached me and said, hey, do you have a message and do this? And there were a couple things that you really helped me kind of get the courage to get out there and do.
Individuals buy from other individuals. So authenticity, showing the face behind the company, behind the brand. It doesn't have to be you, the owner. It could be other representatives of the company. But if somebody can see somebody that's there and they're speaking authentically to what you've built, customers, that's another thing, right? Authentic testimonials. Authenticity sells. And so going live, not being perfect, people love that. None of what we're talking right now is scripted. We're, speaking off the cuff, and people tend to enjoy that and like that and resonate with that. Right. And connect with that.
And it's always the story behind the person.
Yes.
So you have an amazing story, and you've gone through, like you said, a lot of challenges and certain things. But, talk to me about, family and, just being able to be a young dad in this environment, because the environment we're in, obviously, there's a lot that I don't know. If I were a young mom again, I don't know how I would explain. So, how do you do it? What do you do?
I'm thankful for the imperfect parents that raised me. I'm thankful for all the trauma I experienced. I'm thankful that for whatever reason, as a young man, I decided to go on a journey to heal, to discover myself, because that has put me in a position to be the best possible dad I can be, where I'm not projecting onto my son, where I don't have expectations of him, where I can, show him how to love and how to lead and how to be the best little person he can be along the way, and so what I would say there is, we can't avoid working on ourselves. We can't avoid confronting what we don't want to confront within ourselves, because if we do, it's not going anywhere. It's just going to fester inside and come out in all sort of nasty ways. I really believe that my mom's cancer was a result of psycho-emotional things she didn't deal with, and it manifested in that sort of way. So there are real repercussions to not looking at the things we don't want to look at. So whether it's nowadays or whenever, it's really important to do the work so that you're getting out of your own way, so that you can confront the challenges that every one of us have to confront in life. Life is difficult enough and complicated enough. If we add our own stuff into it, it just creates a mess. We all know that, right? This is where addictions come in, suffering comes in, broken families. That's where that comes as a result of not looking within, not doing the inner work necessary to clear your inner house.
That's beautiful and well said. I love the idea that the imperfect, being able to know that parents are not perfect; they're people.
That's right.
And if once you have learned to forgive their mistakes and and love them for everything they are and everything they were, that's the most healing thing that you can do.
100%.
So I love that. 100%. So if you're just joining us, we have Jonathan Hermida, CEO and founder of CAPSUL. This is your time to give us your commercial, if you will. Where does the audience find you? Your website and I think it's a perfect gift. It doesn't matter if it's the holidays or to mark great. I think corporations. I mean, I'm in love with CAPSUL and what you're doing. So, encapsulate that for us.
Yeah. CAPSUL is creating the most beautiful gift you can gift your loved one and your family. For your loved one, it's an opportunity to be the star of the moment, for you to share, to express to them, I love you, you matter, I want to know more about you. Right? You're gifting that loved one that. In addition to that, you get to gift your entire family the essential piece of that person forever. Right? We do these long form, beautiful interviews that capture all aspects of their life. And so we've been working hard to make this as accessible as possible. We have packages that now start as low as $150. So this is a perfect gift. That's right. Okay. So you can capture just one chapter of that person's life. It could be, their life lessons that they learned. It could be about their childhood. It could be lessons about marriage. We capture one chapter. You can start as low as 150. And if you want to come into our studio and have this studio quality, we have 0% financing available. So this is a really wonderful no-brainer gift for Christmas, for birthdays, for anniversaries. Anytime you want to share with your loved one and really gift them something different and meaningful. You can find us at yourcapsul.com. That's yourcapsul.com, or at yourcapsul, which is our Instagram.
Yeah. Wonderful. You have a great Instagram. There's some beautiful examples. I'm up there.
Yeah, she's up there. That's right.
But it's just it's a wonderful legacy initiative and a wonderful legacy gift, to be able to give that. Speaking of legacy, what would you tell your younger self? I know what I tell my younger self, but if there was one piece of advice that, looking back at your life that, Jonathan today would, that, or the other way around, that you just learned through life and, you wish you'd known sooner.
What I would share with the younger me is you're going to be fine. Keep moving forward. Trust yourself.
I love that.
Yeah.
And you're just so real. Your approach, you're the type of person that I think, makes anyone feel like, when I met you, I felt like I'd known you all these years. Now, granted, we know Lily and other people in common, but you have just that warm, dynamic personality about you that you make everyone feel comfortable. And I remember I was so nervous to film mine that I was like, oh, what am I going to say? What am I going to do? And, once I was, there with you in the studio, it was so natural. You have that, really calming effect and, to be able to say, and afterwards I was like, oh, I wish I would have said this. That's right. I don't know if that's common.
That's right. Yeah, of course. Very common.
Another reason to maybe do another one, an update.
An update. That's right. Yeah, we create pathways for that. But that's the main thing is creating a family-like environment, creating intimacy so that the person feels, not even so that the person feels, it's really just to connect with another human being. It's in the most natural way. And it goes back to the authenticity that I speak to. Everybody has that authentic self that can shine regardless of the environment. You just need to create the right environment for that to be the case, right? And that's what we try to do.
On the coaching front, because if you want a slice of that and to be able to develop those skills for someone to work with you, they give you a call and, how do you set up your coaching packages?
Yeah, so jonathanhermida.com. I actually don't take a ton of clients. I'm very selective on that because I have very minimal time being a father, building a business and doing a bunch of things. But if you're interested, jonathanhermida.com, send me a message through there and we'll jump on a free call. I'll get to know a little bit about you and what you're looking for, and we'll take it from there.
And we were talking about, before we got on, about our book of leaders, which we're really excited about. It's our legacy initiative, and talking about, some of the leaders. What advice would you give to me when it comes to finding those leaders in those different categories? I'm curious. What?
Leverage your network. You have a wonderful network, and have them nominate people in their lives, in their world, that they believe are industry leaders. So help the community work for you, basically.
That's great advice. It's funny because we've been working on it for some time, and we have some people already in mind, but much like our whole Miami Women Who Rock community, the minute that we empower the other, either women business leaders within our group, we're so much stronger.
That's right.
I guess about maybe, 2017, we had the Founder Circle nominate all the Rockstar Award honorees, and it just made us that much stronger. So we're so grateful for having you on today.
Happy to be
Absolutely adore your business, your brand, and what a great gift. Again, we've been talking to Jonathan Hermida at CAPSUL. You can look him up on Instagram at Your CAPSUL. And if you are interested in a great gift or working with him as a coach, any of those things, I can tell you firsthand, he is a total rock star. And we love having you on the CEO Spotlight. And I just wish you luck. And I just know that you're one of these people that will leave a legacy of greatness. So thank you for joining us. We will see you on Spotlight TV next Thursday, 10 a.m. and see you in the Spotlight